Hello, my friends, family, and esteemed colleagues. Another request came to explain a little bit the restless leg syndrome and what can we do about it. And it is always interesting to go to the internet and open several sites, medical sites, professional sites, and read what they have to say about things. Simply because it is so nice to see with the clear thinking how ridiculous the modern medicine is. Okay, so when you search on the internet, you can even start with Wikipedia, and you know, it will tell you that it's an urge that some people have to move their legs, sometimes arms, and people in a risk of having this syndrome are people who are low on iron, which somehow they directly connect with a kidney failure, all right? Then, of course, if you are suffering from Parkinson's disease, well, you are shaking already the whole body. Of course, you are going to shake your arms and your legs as well. Then also, you are in higher risk if you have diabetes mellitus, for example, if you have celiac disease, okay, if you are being on some medication. Then also it mentions that women, when they are pregnant, they are in higher risk of developing this restless leg syndrome. And the funniest thing is when, you know, I opened the Hopkins Medical Center, and they say, your doctor can diagnose restless leg syndrome based on your signs and symptoms and complete medical history. Signs and symptoms. We have invented so far millions of diseases based on signs and symptoms, and because these signs and symptoms are same through a great variety of these so-called diseases, so we always find relation. Remember, modern medicine is based on statistics, not on science. So right away they tell you, okay, if you are older than 40, you are more likely to develop this. They also tell you that it is going to intensify in time, so as like cumulative character. Since they have no clue what could be the cause, the first thing goes, well, if somebody in a family, genes, all right? But they cannot pinpoint it because it may happen to anybody. And now it's happening in younger and younger age. So they have broken it down into, okay, if you are younger than 40, you know, the symptoms usually are lighter and sometimes they may disappear, but eventually they are going to come back. So this, okay, now this also I've seen in what was this? US Department of Health and Human Services. Okay, so on their site, they say, well, their scientists, their experts, their doctors have noticed the relation between antacids people are using and exacerbation, strengthening of the symptoms. Now, I've said many times that using alkaline stuff is a medicinal treatment which is symptom oriented. So you want to solve something, but you're gonna fuck up something else because it's poisonous. Even alkalinity is poisonous if it is concentrated, because our body is neutral. It's not alkaline, it's neutral. So now you start alkalizing it with, you specially pick strong alkaline things that your body has to regulate, but there is a problem. Yes, seawater is alkaline, but it is because of the mineral content that we need. And body can easily solve this simply by eliminating what it doesn't need. But when you are forcing things, especially baking soda, okay, you have indigestion. Well, you have indigestion because you don't eat correctly. So now, to help yourself, so you keep poisoning yourself through food and countering it through very alkaline medium, which then prevents you to digest correctly. And you develop problems. Drinking alkaline water for longer periods of time, strong alkaline water that is not based on minerals. You have alkalizers that basically split the water into acidic and alkaline. Well, this stuff is not healthy because it's difficult to balance. And again, we have to remember that body is neutral. It's not alkaline, it's not acidic. And then within body, you have a division because everything works on division, on opposites. So you are slightly alkaline on the extracellular fluids and slightly acidic on the intercellular fluids. And body balances this through cleansing process. Of course, more acidic food you are eating, and acidic food is the food that creates acids in your body. Doesn't matter when you take it in that is alkaline. If it creates acidic reaction in your body, this is what counts. And plant food does this because the source of calories comes from sugar, from glucose, which then body has to convert in fat, and in that process produces strong uric acid. So, contrary what we are being told, it is not the meat diet that is acidifying your body, it is the veggie diet, especially cooked, processed. Grains are the worst, not only because of high amount of uric acid that you produce, but also because of phytotoxins which are there, which are poisoning your body, stopping from hydration. So, what is this restless leg syndrome? Well, sometimes when people calm down, all of a sudden they feel unpleasant feeling in their feet. Could be in the arms too. Could be anywhere in the body, but it's most common with feet. And the sensation could differ. It could be just feeling slight drawing pain. It could be itchiness, like you have some ants crawling through your skin. it can be twitching, it can be many things. But as soon as you move the leg, the feeling goes away. So you end up moving your feet. And sometimes you cannot sleep because of it. Why? I have explained that if we have a mild problem in the body, we may not even be aware of it if we are busy. Just remember, loud orchestra, and some out of tune violin, well, nobody hears it. But as soon as the music goes down in intensity and becomes lighter and lighter and lighter, quieter and quieter, all of a sudden this out of tune instrument starts penetrating and irritating you. Same is with the body. As you are moving, you are active, you don't feel the little things. But as you stop moving and you start relaxing, now they come bubble up to the surface and you feel them. And calmer you get, this becomes the only focus that your mind gets focused on. It starts bothering you more and more. So this is why the biggest problem with restless feet is during the night. You want to sleep and you just can't. You just keep rolling and twisting and moving your legs. You sometimes have to get up and walk a little bit, go back down. So this is easily to understand why it happens at night and why not during the day. Now, what causes it? It could be many different chemical reactions, because obviously it's a nerve problem. But nerves can be affected in many different ways. It could be local muscle inflammations that are spurting up, increasing the pressure, touching the nerve, compressing the nerves, and you have localized area, usually in calf muscle, lower leg. But also it could be compression of the sciatic nerve. It could be variety of inflammations that can happen in different part of your leg or even in the spinal cord. Now we always think everything we relate to brain. Oh, something with, oh, it has nothing to do with the brain in most cases. This is a localized problem. And it may affect both feet because what I always mention, if you have a toxic blood, then the organs that are forced to perform the most are going to be the first one to show problems. And as we see it from, doesn't matter if we look at Mayo Clinic, I like to look at their site because everybody has very high opinion of Mayo Clinic and they're specialists. And I'm just debunking that this is all same crap. Nobody is thinking, everybody is just doing what they have been told, reading the same script, doing the same stuff. And it always makes me laugh when they say, well, symptomatically, this disease is, well, every disease is nothing more than symptom. And symptoms are the same, and you have one little variant, and then you give it a new name. And little variant in this is that, okay, your feet are driving you crazy, especially when you relax and when you want to sleep. So there's the little variant from some other symptom that could be you may be kicking your feet. Okay, so this is now different disease because now you are not just moving them, but they basically by your your focus, all of a sudden the legs that kicks, because you're running on subconscious. There's nothing to do with the brain. It could be basically just local problem. Local could be in the spine, could be in the brain. But the problem is that we always go dissecting from the body, the complexity of how the body works, and then trying to figure out a little bit, okay, what chemical, what. It does not matter. You don't have to know how the engine works to be a good driver. You have to know how to start the engine and how to run the clutch and the gears, and have a sense of forces. And you can be a great driver not having a clue how the engine actually works. It would be much better if doctors would know less about how the engine works technically, and they would know more about how to drive this engine. And they don't know really nothing, because they don't know how to drive this engine. They have no clue how the body really works, and they know certain specific things which probably most likely would say so. It appears to be working in a particular way. Oh, most likely it's iron deficit, because we see iron deficit as a symptom in certain diseases that you may also have present in your particular case. The always answer, always, 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 is toxicity. And you deal with toxicity, you help the body to detoxify, stop poisoning it, give it what it needs, and it is going to fix itself. Now, you only want to be a great driver. You want to win the race. Do you have to really know how the spark plug is being powered? How the alternator brings the power? How your steering ram works? It works. Body is perfect. Stop poisoning it, and it's going to recover. The biggest clue is here. Woman is okay, becomes pregnant, and all of a sudden she has nausea, morning sickness with the diarrhea, and all of a sudden she has restless leg syndrome. So what has changed between the woman before pregnancy and during pregnancy? Well, now another organism is growing that is producing more garbage that she has to eliminate, and she is low on freaking plasma. So there is no water, because remember, we don't hold water, we hold plasma, ionized water, and it's ionized through minerals. And this is why we are salty. And we have to be ionized because we are electric robot. We have to have perfect electric conductivity. So, as woman's body gets more toxic, now it's not only the nausea, because her plasma levels are low, blood levels are low, so she cannot spare water to urinate sufficiently to cleanse, so she is cleansing through mucosal tissue, wastes less water. But her toxicity is so strong that makes her vomit, because strong toxic mucus is coming from the blood and it's going into stomach and intestines, irritating them, creating nausea, creating diarrhea. So if the acids are so strong, if she is so toxic on the level of blood, of course there will be other symptoms happening, and if she already had a cellular problem with her legs, now it's going to pop out. And again, most likely it's a problem with muscles. Like we have myocardial infarctions on the heart, well, same thing is happening in the muscles. Only we don't pay attention to it because muscle, any other muscle, heart is also a muscle, but if that muscle gets a problem, you die. So the other muscles, we don't pay so much attention, but same thing is happening, it's just repetition. So, they say, well, how we can deal with it? Can we prevent? How can you prevent something that you don't understand? Of course you cannot prevent it, and there is no prevention anywhere in medicine. In medicine, not medicine. There has nothing to do with medicine. It's a mad sin. What we are practicing, what we are being told to practice, what we are being told in medical school. It's a stupidity. So, we don't know. So how can you prevent something that you don't understand? So we go into treatment. Shaking leg. If you have twitching eye, going, same thing. So how do you calm it down? With sedatives. You give it sedative, you calm the whole body down, and this stops. So this is basically what is being used. Well, you are much better off taking CBD oil. It's way less toxic and keeps your spirit high. But again, it's not a cure. Those are all crutches, just to let you normalize your life. Because if you have this kind of a syndrome, you cannot sleep well, so you will be tired during the day. So what really can you do about it? Detoxify, hydrate, deflame your body. And you do it through hydration, which sounds like oxymoron, right? Inflammation is increased pressure, so more liquid, more blood you have in a tissue. And now you are hydrating, bringing more plasma, raising the plasma level, so you can decrease the pressure inside of the tissue. Yeah. Because the mechanism that creates this pressure is controlled by hormones. And it is kind of not healing, but self-patching system. Okay, your tissue is trying to help itself. So it creates inflammation, so it pushes some water into the cellular structure, so then cells can either detoxify slightly or eliminate certain acids, become less acidic, or use it to flush off something that bothers them, like in allergy case. So variety of reasons why we have inflammations. Usually, it's always lack of plasma inside of the cell. Always the reason. And acidic environment. And I always say, well, acidic environment, when acid becomes problematic, then body creates this hydration, but it's not the acid. Whatever is in the cell, it doesn't bother anybody. It's what is on the outside of the cell, which then cell has to respond. This is the problem. This is why toxic blood is always the problem, because it's outside of the cell. The cellular receptor is dealing with the extracellular environment, not intracellular environment. Same like a liver. Liver is dealing with the blood that is returning from the body, especially returning from your digestive tract, and is analyzing what is there, so it produces antidotes if it needs to. But it doesn't really check the blood that is in blood circulation, in general blood circulation, that is actually feeding those cells of the liver itself. And this is why if you inject your own blood, you inject it subcutaneously, so your lymphatic system picks it up. Well, you can even put it deeper, because it is going to be drawn by returning blood, and it is going to be run through the liver, and it produces antidotes. It's a part of the homeopathy. So, going back to restless leg syndrome, you are toxic. You gotta detoxify. And you can do it only by increasing your blood levels. You are low on blood. You always have the same amount of red blood cells, white blood cells, but you are low on plasma. And plasma is your water in ionic state. And only when you have enough of the water in the body, then you can cleanse the body. And this is necessary. So your symptoms, all of them, go away. And this is why this protocol you can use on any chronic disease, including mental. Again, toxic blood is problematic for brain cells in more ways than one, because it also will affect the body on emotional level, because the environment is changing, vibration is changing. Every thought, emotion is created by thoughts, by feelings, and it has particular frequency. And if the frequency in your bodies are shifted, you may have the same resonance of some emotion that is trapped in you, and pow, you start releasing it. And you will have cleansing symptoms. And this is what is happening now. We are under strong, very strong influence of energies coming from the space, from central sun, and reflected through all the planets. So now what is happening is crazy, and we feel it when we are behaving crazy. And our bodies are going through this crazy change. I had ayahuasca a week ago, and my stomach still didn't settle. My wife didn't even have it, and she got hit with the same energies, and also has unsettled stomach. We are cleansing, letting go of stuff that have been embedded there, and now we have to get rid of them, because we are going into another stage, another game. So now everybody who was suffering before from chronic ailments, now they are going to feel worse. And now it's difficult to say, well, is this something that you had before, or is something that's coming new? Well, it does not matter. It's toxicity. Is this toxicity something that you just are receiving, or it's being released from your cells? They create exactly the same problems. Toxic blood, detox symptoms. Do not ever try to connect one symptom and blame another symptom because of it. You cannot say, well, yeah, you have diabetes and this is why you have restless leg syndrome. Oh yeah, you have a kidney problems. This is why you have restless leg syndrome. No, both of those things, all of those three things are caused by toxic blood. You fix that problem, you fix all of it. But remember, it is not easy to hydrate on a cellular level, and the more toxic you are, when your cells start releasing these toxins, it becomes very difficult for the body sometimes to handle. And yes, you can die from it. Sometimes we should take medication to control the speed of detox. So you poison your body, so the cells slow down releasing of the toxins, because as soon as you put poison in your body, the cells start creating heat proteins to make their membranes denser, so this toxin doesn't come in. At the same time, their toxin cannot come out. So you're controlling the speed of a detox. But unfortunately, many people don't want to do anything about their health until they are in such a bad shape that they are screaming with pain and they cannot move. And in that case, they are extremely toxic. And healing is problematic. Cleansing is problematic. Creates a lot of problems. So it has to be controlled when necessary. If you have this problem, restless leg syndrome, follow the Cell Healers protocol. Hydrate with plasma, diluted seawater or water with not refined sea salt, and watch your diet. Be very particular. Scrap the veggies. Focus on animal products. Even if they are not from the best possible source, bless them. They are still at least not shifting your genetic mechanism like plants do. Thank you for listening. Till next time. Love you all.